6 North American League desk, Doa, Jesse, Tommy here with you, getting ready for our next series.
Who's Jesse?
Which is going to be, oh yeah, well he's around somewhere. Jacob.
Oh wow!
Too many J names. We need different. Can we just create new IDs?
You are call him Caliber.
At some point, you're going to call me Joe, and I'm going to be really mad. Just
shout out to Joe Bro.
It's because they look so similar. It's hard to tell them apart.
No, we don't.
Is he bald?
I'm 7 foot.
No, not you and Joe. You and Jesse, obviously.
Is Jesse bald? Is that what you're saying?
No. I thought I was talking about Joe.
Not until he loses predictions and we shave his head. Anyway, let's move on to predictions. Or standings rather. I just want to talk predictions. We're covering from last night. The fourth was anyway.
That's true.
Anyway, we're moving on to standings. Let's check it out. So, check that out.
All right.
Exet second place, still where they were before. 13 points for them. And meanwhile, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Is this? Yeah. It's going to be a little bit difficult for Astralis, but they've made another step in the right direction. 11 points for them, tied up with Parabellum, now in fourth place within firing distance easily of making it to Berlin.
Yeah, I think this is where the Soniqs really solidify the notion that they're here to play for a major spot. For Beastcoast, even if you were to get 3 points today, and that catapults you up to 12, it would be interesting to see this tidal wave of teams that were within the bottom, I think 3 or 4 in the league, 7th, 8th, 9th, all getting 3-point wins and catapulting themselves over teams that we all kind of figured were going to make the major anyway. Yeah. I still feel like OXG and XSET, because of the points they had coming into this Playday, were relatively safe. But if there's the chance we see a whole flip reversal of those last 2 major contention spots, that would be quite interesting.
It will be interesting, and I just want to say something in Twitch chat. Relax. SSG may be 9, but the points are so close. One game can jump them up to 4th place.
But when we look at the probability, Space Station definitely has some work to do.
Yeah. I will say Space Station does need to win out. Obviously, for a big team, a big name in this game, invite champions as well. You want to see them in the top 4 place and want to see them at the major.
Indeed. Well, let's talk our next series. It is going to be Beastcoast versus Soniqs. Now, Beastcoast coming off a birthday bash for Drip, and not the kind that you'd want. It was a bashing done to them by Mirage. And so can they bounce back from that? Because you remember, one stage ago, Beastcoast was in a very similar situation where their major hopes were dashed to pieces by a Mirage loss.
By a Mirage loss and a Mirage player on the desk.
Yeah, there you go. That's what you were there. You were there in the at the desk. Yeah, not this desk, but the playing desk. So if they lose to Soniqs today, Beastcoast major hopes are more or less scuttled.
I mean, they're not totally dead, but it's one of those cases where it will come down to the results of everybody else who's within that top 4 placement to not do something that then keeps them above Beastcoast for the rest of the stage. That's the problem that we find ourselves. And funnily enough, this story is the tale of the second best team on attack against the second worst team on attack. 2 very different philosophies, one of them adapting a little bit more to how this entire series was going to play because they understood attack, repick, and the new maps against a Beastcoast team that still looks like they're doing some things out of order. So even though they differ on whether they're better on attack or defense, I still think it comes down to both teams' attacking halves that will define how this entire game is played.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see a little bit of summary as well, Beastcoast beat Soniqs last stage, 7-2 on Oregon. Personally, I don't care who wins this game because I have friends on both, and Rexin, Sweater, and
come on, stir the pot a little bit.
Being RF members of mine, rent-free that we qualified for Pro League with.
Yep.
But it will be funny in the group chat later. I can't wait until one of them loses and roast the other, because honestly, even though you might lose this game, you might not have a chance to make the major because of it. So I can't wait until I see Yardy complain about either winning or losing, because he loves to do
He's always got something to say.
How many tweets is he going to delete this time if he loses the set?
I was going to say, he always has, if you check his Twitter right after a game, you'll see a hot take, and you better do it quick because it's usually deleted within 15 to 20 minutes after that. So yeah, keep an eye out, But let's talk about Beastcoast a little bit more in depth. It's like we said, I mean, that's really the story here. It's win or then have an extremely difficult time making it to the major. This is the moment where you have to have that mental fortitude. You have to say, all right, yeah, the Mirage loss was embarrassing, let's not think about it. Let's have a goldfish brain. Let's forget what happened 5 seconds ago, and let's go into this one fresh.
I'd say there is still a good chance for this team to, if not break into major contention, still keep things very close. They're not out of the fight. This is one of those cases where you need to look for more ways to be innovative on attack, because the graphics said it. They're 9th on attack right now. And there's 2 things I think are leading into this. The first is exactly who is calling things and what that strategy is meant to be. Somehow this co-IGL process of slash hug and drip doesn't seem like it's really hitting the market that they themselves want. So whatever they're intending to call, they've had their most success, funnily enough, when Sweater is the one to create impact, and then they'll kind of work off of that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But you remember that Chalet game against Space Station? It was what, Playday 3. He's making these big plays, calling something, saying, yo, I can do this, and then Beastcoast is reacting to it, responding appropriately. It's not to say, or I don't want to say that Beastcoast only succeeds when Sweater creates an opening, but maybe you need to find ways to give him more of those openings in the future if you want that streak to continue. Because if that's the main reason for their success on attack, then you need to find a way to do it more, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's just say it up front. Like, I love Sweater, I love Drip, I love Rexon, but Sweater is a saving grace for Beastcoast. So, you know, shout out to Beastcoast, you know, Tim Flynn, the manager, and all of them. But you guys got to give him a Supermax contract. Like, you can't let him go. You just can't let him go. He's your saving grace. I will say, we do need to see if Anthony and others do show up with Sweater. Anthony has been having a rough stage.
Anthony is currently the worst player in the NAL who isn't a coach, by the way.
Wow. He's one of the homies.
Painful numbers.
Yeah.
He's one of the homies, but I hope he, shows up this game, because Sweater and Serve do need some help.
This is weird because Anthony is somebody who once upon a time was the best player on Beastcoast, but that was on a team that still had so many different moving parts to it. No one really knew where any of them were going to land. And he's stuck with the team through thick and thin. Well, whether it's holding down flanks better, I look at him as a flank watch or as a Zof, but why is he suddenly falling off the wagon?
I will say it depends on the role. Like, obviously nowadays you think flank is flank, but in the NA region, you don't really have flanks. Like, people don't typically flank like how they do in EU or in APAC or LATAM.
True.
So with the flank role in NA, he's more of a lurker slash fragger slash cutoff.
Yeah.
So that's why you see Diaz, who played on Skyscraper a couple play days ago, forgot against what team, he was playing Zof and just fragging out.
Yeah.
And he's not an entry, he's not a hard support, he's the flank.
He's the one getting kills mid-round.
He's the one, exactly.
Yeah. Now, to me, it kind of feels like Beastcoast results have been a little bit in-map, and then also looking at the wins and losses, it's been a little bit more erratic this stage than last stage, it almost feels like. Do you feel like the source of that is something that's just sort of like polish that needs to be applied, or does something transformative kind of need to happen to this team?
I mean, I'd call it a discipline problem if they're having issues executing. And like Drip himself mentioned that in rounds where they lose on an execute, they still feel like they should win it, but it's down to a cover problem, or they don't have somebody cleared on a vertical play. Like when they played Theme Park, that was a pretty prevalent problem. Yeah. To me, it looks like discipline, but I don't know about you.
To me, it just seems like, I honestly think they just need to, it sucks to say this, but sometimes it just comes down to ones. And you need to win your ones. Like, as much as we could say, like, we can analyze it and base statistics and all that stuff.
If you don't win your gunfight,
if you don't win your gun, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes you're in the positions where you need to win those gunfights in order for your planner to plant the bomb, in order for your entry to not get flanked, in order for your, in order for your flank to not to get flanked. And sometimes you lose it. Sometimes you flank early and you're not with your team, and one dies here, one dies there, and then now you're snowballing into a round.
When I hear a player say we should have won something a lot, that's like a red flag for me, because that's almost saying that you are not acknowledging the position you put yourself in to lose that round, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, you shouldn't have won it because you didn't put yourself in a position to win it. So if I hear a player saying that consistently, whether it's in a team situation or a 1v1 game or something, to me that says, all right, we got to go back further than you are looking to identify other things that affected it down the road. That tells me they're not looking far enough back for the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, sometimes I'm like, I should have won that game 3 years ago, but it's like, when you look back on it, it's like,
Exactly, yeah. Well, there is another team in this match, of course. Let's talk about them a little bit. Talked about Beastcoast quite a bit. Let's talk about the Soniqs. That's right. Soniqs looking pretty decent this stage, definitely better than they did in stage 1 at least. I mean, it was a low bar, but Super & Co. seem to be back. They are currently 5th in the standings, which again, might as well be 2nd, might as well be 3rd because the points are so close. The question is, can they tip themselves sort of over the edge to secure that spot in Berlin?
I'd say so. I look at either the Soniqs or TSM going to the major, and to me, it feels like it took a whole stage of analysis for Super and the support staff at SQ to realize what they liked on attacker repick and exactly how to use it. I feel their flexibility is played a lot more into this stage, and it's not the kind of thing teams have been able to read nearly as effectively. That said, it's been mostly their defenses that have been like I guess the crux of the issue. Their attack isn't something that I'm concerned about at all, because they jumped from one of the worst teams on it last stage to tied up there now with SSG as the best overall attacking team through 6 games. But on defense, it doesn't feel like it's quite working out. Even though, like we've talked about Super playing in these very dedicated positions, or Kansan playing a little bit more on site, there still seems to be a bit of a disconnect with how that makes its translation to the big stage.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to give props where props due. Like, they've gotten better, especially after stage 1. And then also, like, you have Grixer and Kansan especially stepping it up. Grixer right now being top of the team for the leaderboard, and Kansan right behind him. So I feel like this game will be really good, especially for the Sweater versus Grixer type game. You know, they're both Finka mains. They're both amazing fraggers, and they're always in the right spot at the right time whenever they get their frags, whether it's a C4, whether it's a flank, whether it's a double kill. And then also we got to, bring up Kansan. Kansan performing well for Soniqs.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's kind of lacking in the entry. He's either getting picked off early on defense and or, not in the right place on attack, on a -5 on entry. So hopefully he can pick this up a little bit, because obviously you don't want your player dying early, whether he's a smoke player or a mute player, which Kansan does play.
Yeah, I do feel too that with Hugh Jackman stepping away from the role of Wolverine, that Grixer has a chance to pick up the mantle, become the new Wolverine in the MCU.
What?
I'm just putting that out there too. I don't want him to retire. I'm not saying he should retire, but I'm just saying there's a possible second career there.
Is there?
I don't know.
I'm looking for the thread.
He's got the chops.
I mean, I will. The
chops.
I get what you're going at. I get it. Well,
surprised it took you that long.
We haven't really called Grixer's number much this stage. I'm getting a little bit of a flash. Remember when I think it was when he was playing you guys when you were on XSET still.
Yeah.
Stage 1 of last year, back when it was them and it was OXG fighting for that first spot. In the era where Soniqs were purported as not worrying about top 4, let's just see what happens, suddenly they're one of the best teams in the world nearly instantly when that year begins. And Grixer was a massive reason for that. He was always first in, he was always finding entry kills, and he was creating impact mid-round that was giving Soniqs so much room to worry about the execute. He's doing a lot more of the same. He's top rated only slightly above Kansan right now. And even though most of it's on Finka Alibi, welcome to the new meta, it's still the kind of thing that provides that space for Super and the rest of the Soniqs to get the plant down, because that part of their mentality, their objective focus mentality, still has yet to change.
Yeah, true enough. Well, let's find out what the map is going into this one. The bands are in, so it's time to find out where we are headed here for map number 3 on the day. Skyscraper and Border banned out already.
Yep. I mean, Skyscraper, being banned by Soniqs isn't a surprise. I mean, even though Beastcoast lost to Mirage, honestly, that whole game, you see Beastcoast literally had the upper hand, but, they kind of fell down to mental and mental toughness and such.
Yeah. I think I'm just... There's still no cafe ban, which is really, really weird. This wouldn't be the first time that we technically see Cafe get taken out by Soniqs way late in the rotation, which, obviously, they don't like Theme, they don't like Sky. Sky was already a good map for Beastcoast, so there are other options on the table they'd like to go for instead. They banned Oregon.
There you go, your Cafe.
Oh, dude.
I mean, Beastcoast banned it, so Soniqs might be buffing.
Is this more of a demonstration that the Soniqs at some point might be cool taking a weak attacking team to Cafe?
Might be. I mean, with no offense to Beastcoast, I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're too structured enough for Cafe.
Yeah, probably a little bit too loose for it. So we're down to just 3 options. It's not the Villa, it's not the Bank.
Chalet.
The Chalet. Ooh. Yeah, okay, so Beastcoast beat SSG on this before.
What does Sweater do?
This is the Sweater game. This is Kitten Coast fully unleashed.
But is he wearing the mittens?
If he's not wearing the cat ears, it probably won't matter. In this case, the Soniqs, at least on Chalet, usually have been cool playing it, and historically they've liked it. They have yet to play at this stage and then just remember back to what SSG were incapable of doing against the Sweater LMG Cat Menace like a couple weeks ago.
I mean, so with the Soniqs attacking first too, you kind of say, all right, let's put together a good, solid attacking round. Then we take down Beastcoast where they are weakest, which is their attack, it seems like. So it seems like Soniqs is counting on having a better half of the map.
As well with
first half.
Beastcoast playing against SSG, if I remember like fondly, they did not play bar against SSG. I think they did not go bar once, or they went there once and never again.
They played.
They went dining and master.
Kitchen,
Dining and master. They didn't go bar, or they went garage as well once or twice, because I remember that for sure. It was bar, or I'm sorry, it was dining, garage, and then master. They never played bar, if I remember correctly, because I think they knew that SSG was a good, clear like bar team where they take up top, clear rat corner, and such like that. But I do remember SSG did play it. So hopefully we can see Beastcoast play bar, but as we do know, bar is one of the most played sites on Chalet, and a lot of teams do know that.
You're right, Beastcoast didn't play bar in that game.
Yep.
All right,
there you go. All right, well, more data the merrier, because we need a lot for predictions. That's right, it's that time again. Now let's go over to our casters to see what they have to say. It's Intero. And of course, who else but Panga? Wait a minute. Who's that?
Whoa.
Jesse, what are you doing over there?
Jesse, you're alive?
I've sneaked over to the other desk. I've run across the studio.
You snuck.
Snuck
over.
Bro,
We're off to a great start.
I called.
You're ready to cast.
Can't speak at all.
At the hotel, I called your room, I texted you, I DM'd you on Twitter, I called your girlfriend, and you didn't respond.
I had to fly in for
so
30
we grabbed
minutes.
Tommy instead, because he was just
Michigan.
at the same hotel randomly.
Yeah, in
Listen.
Michigan.
I mean, I knew Tommy was going to be stepping in. I thought, let Tommy have the spotlight on the desk, and we can do an all-Canadian cast.
Yeesh.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
What have we unleashed?
Terrible, terrible thing.
It's a 2.5 Canadian because
It
I'm
was
in
Canada
Michigan.
Day just a couple days ago, by the way.
That's true.
I'm rocking the part of the Canada tuxedo, the Canadian
Jean
tuxedo,
jacket?
the jean jacket.
There you go.
Very nice, very nice.
Other than that, we saw the Canadian team sort of in action.
Yeah, well, we had the all-Canadian today. We had Mirage versus Parabellum.
One Canadian team was in action.
Yeah, that was not the
One team was playing for
the
that.
closest
50%.
of matches.
Not
it
bad,
wasn't
not bad.
exactly the brawl that we thought. This one, though,
How about this one? Yeah.
Yeah,
should be pretty close.
I think this.
I'm going to let
is
you
pretty
go
close.
with your predictions, because we actually, coming into today, we were 1 and 2
Yep.
for predictions. You were number 1, I was number 2.
That's
I
right.
got to give you credit for that. So why don't you go first, and I'll just steal your.
You're gonna steal?
Yeah, I'm going to steal your prediction for the
think-
entire day, so
Well,
that
let's see
no
if he
matter
likes
what
it
happens,
first.
you can't gain on me.
Okay, well here, I think Soniqs are going to be the favorites for a lot of people, but this is where Sweater had his big game. I like Chalet for Beastcoast. I think I'm throwing a curveball to start the
going
day off. I want to go Beastcoast. I know
my
they got
gosh.
embarrassed by Mirage, but I'm going to say that was a fluke. I'm going to say they bounced back today. I'm going to say they take down the Soniqs.
Wow.
I was really hoping
Copy it. Go ahead.
I was
Copy.
going to say, are you sure you want to do that?
You going to stick to your guns now, big man, huh?
Oh.
Parker, do me a favor, ruin his predictions so when he comes back on the desk, he has a lower percentage.
I'm going to try my best to do that.
Thank
I don't
you.
know what kind of mental game he's playing, but I honestly think I think it's the Soniqs. I think the Soniqs have a small edge as a team here. I do think it is going to be close, but the only thing, there's two things that are actually like weighing on my mind in that decision. Is number one is how humiliated Beastcoast must have been last week.
Fair.
But furthermore, yeah, they called it, what did you call it? The Kitten what?
The Kitten Coast game.
Kitten Coast.
Coast.
That's
Yeah.
correct. I don't think we're going to see another game like that. I just don't. The statistical likelihood of it happening is so small that I have to give the nod to Soniqs. I think they've gotten better as the season, as stage has gone on, and I think the Soniqs are going to prevail.
Fair enough. All right, well, the desk split, but to be fair, it's not two casters. We got a temporary caster, but a real
phony.
analyst. We know you
phony.
can't fool us. That's right. Well, he's predicting Beastcoast. We'll see what happens.
Better than you in predictions.
We'll see what happens. Hey, me? Oh, no, you're talking to him. All right,
Anybody.
sorry.
I'm top of the hill right
You don't
now.
have
I don't
predictions,
make
Noah.
predictions. That's right. I am merely, as I've said many times, the
A vessel.
Exactly. Let's go to our analysts. We'll check back in with our casters in just a moment. What's it going to be? Tommy, we'll go to you first.
I'm gonna I'm sorry, Parker, but you just I just can't believe you just said no to Sweater. It's Sweater in 4. I mean 7, but 7-4.
Uh-huh. Wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Does that mean you're
wait,
picking
yeah,
Beastcoast?
Is he Beastcoast 7-4?
Beastcoast.
Oh.
All right. Another
Beastcoast.
Beast Coast. It's getting spicy.
Sweater.
Jacob.
I
do you
mean, okay. That was a bit of a curveball. See, you would think Sweater would shut down Super. I don't think Super's the kind of guy to worry about trying to shut down Sweater. But by that same token, if we don't even get to that half or to worry about that half very much, and we just look at a Soniqs attacking team on Chalet, honestly, I think they're too good. if that half goes well, I don't know if Beast Coast really have a counter for it, so I will still take SQ.
All right, so 2 for Soniqs, 2 for Beast Coast. Let's see what the coin has to say. Heads will be Beast Coast, tails will be Soniqs as per the graphic. And it is tails again. The coin likes tails today, it seems like. Soniqs will be the pick for the coin. You can see the eagle on the back there. There you go. Yeah, to turn it so the lighting works out. That's it. Tails.
I always love how this Twitter poll like puts the drip stands against the super stands.
What's it going to be?
It's going to be Beast Coast.
Fan vote?
Watch.
It shouldn't be.
Soniqs. There you go. All right. So a slight lead for Soniqs, but Beast Coast obviously with a chance. We'll see who ends up taking it in the end, but we'll also check out the Twitter poll, which will be who's the most evil villain of Rainbow Six NAL Drip
Did I not
Super?
just say that?
That's kind of, yeah, I mean, I suppose. All right.
Bart knows the people.
We'll see. They've both been nice when I've talked to them.
They are both nice. I will say.
I'm friends with everybody.
Yep.
So.
I will say Drip does have more Pro League haters on his side, though.
If you asked them this question, which of them do you think?
Drip will say him.
Drip will say him, but would Seth say himself too?
I think
Seth
he
will say
sees himself as a misunderstood genius.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Right on the bullseye.
That's
right then.
Ooh.
That's the impression I got. Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Well, you have a chance to go on Twitter and vote about that. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we will see if Soniqs makes one more step towards the major, or if it is indeed once again sweater weather on Chalet. Don't go anywhere. The Rainbow Six North American League returns in just a few.
You're losing, I got no perception. What is real, what's your projection? I make you dizzy in your head, got no protection. You're lost in the game, can't remember your name. Calling on the horn and her she will come to play. You can get no sleep, stay awake to numb the pain. Make you save your problems for another day. I'm your getaway, but you can get away. You just close your eyes when you wish to be free. You look up to the sky and call on me. Let me put color in your sky, take away the gray. Turn the roof to a floor on a Saturday. Up it tall in the night, you do what I say. I'm just a getaway, I'm just your getaway. I'll make you warm if it's chilly and I probably make you say things you wouldn't do normally. I'm like a 9-to-5 job, pay you up for me. I'm your getaway, cause you can get away. Let me put color in your sky, take away the gray. Turn the roof to a floor on a Saturday. Up it tall in the night, you do what I say. I'm just a getaway, I'm just your getaway. I'll make you warm if it's chilly and I probably make you say things you wouldn't do.
Stage 1 and Stage 2, we kind of came in expecting to win because we'd been top 4 every stage. We won the NAL, we went to Invite, we had top 6 placing. I guess it was a bit of ego. Like, we just came in expecting to win because we were a lot better than, every team. So when we did get here, there were some roster changes, there were some new teams. I feel like it's easiest to play with the underdog mentality because no one's expecting you to win and there's no pressure on you. So when we come in expecting expecting to win and these players want it more than us, it doesn't matter how good individually that we are. Those players, if they have better communication, coordination, they can execute, we're gonna lose every time. Work ethic was not poor, but less than average than what it usually is. Every time we go to scrims, take it as seriously as possible, practice on adapting, communication, coordination, and then just bringing the energy. We're like a very big vibes team, and if the vibes are down, we kind of struggle.
I'm Super, and this is the NAL.
Time for the All-Canadian cast to follow up the All-Canadian matchup that we saw back in the very first match of the day. I'm not joined by Pengu. In fact, I have this revolving door of co-casters so far this stage. I'm joined by Jesse J. Chick. The J stands for Jahost. Well, what did I say again?
Jingle Miner Schmidt?
Something like that.
Something like that. Not correct, by the way.
We change it all the time.
Do we?
Jehoshaphat.
Do we? Do we jointly change my middle name often?
I think it's funny because you can't just be Jesse Chick. You have to be Jesse J Chick.
JJC.
JJC.
That's what it is.
You know who else was JC?
Who?
Jesus Christ himself.
The legend.
It's very egotistical of you to steal his initials.
Well, somebody had to.
Or your parents to do that. Either way, we have a battle of the all-teal.
Yes.
A different shade of green, a blue-green, if you want to dive in that far. And it's the story of the matching arm sleeves. They're all going to be shooting for 3 inside of the server. Chalet is the domain for these teams as the fist bumps go across the board. Time for us to get underway.
It's a big game, Parker. Both these teams definitely still in the running to make it to Berlin. Soniqs kind of, both these teams, I believe, in the 30 to 50 range in terms of their odds coming into today. Jumping into the bands,
30 to 50 what?
Percentage points, Parker.
Oh, that makes sense.
There you go. I'm expecting, we've seen a lot of a zombie band out so far. Beastcoast have banned Nook in every single game coming into this matchup, except for one. 5 bans on Nook so far. SQ have done a lot of Hibana bans, but they like Thatcher on this map. Historically, Finka. That's their first time banning this operator.
Is that the first Finka ban?
No. We've definitely seen Finka bans so far in the NAL this stage, and we saw it a bit at the major as well.
For Soniqs, Jesse.
For Soniqs, I believe it's their first. Valkyrie, very common. I believe they banned Valkyrie every single time they played this map. They played it 3 times last stage. And then coming in for Beastcoast, again, they do like their Azami bans, both these teams, and it does come through.
Unsurprising, Azami has the, I believe, the highest prominence rate of every single operator. What does prominence mean? It means in terms of pick rate and also ban rate.
Indeed.
Usually that tends to be Thatcher, I think. Most stages, Thatcher tends to have the highest prominence. Sometimes we'll see Mira up there as well.
Yes.
In this particular instance, Azami quite strong. And we've actually been doing exit interviews with these teams too, asking the question, what do you think of Azami? And they all tend to say the same thing. Well, she's a little strong.
Yes. The devs talked a little bit about how sometimes we've seen Beastcoast not go to that bar games site. That is the most popular site. It's typically considered to be the best site on this map. A lot of people, myself included, would tell you that this bomb site, Wine and Snowmobile, is the worst site on the map. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's very easy to kind of take this going in through Big Garage, clearing out Kitchen, and pushing the Wine site. If teams do decide to go for the Snowmobile side of things, it can be okay. You do have to roam very heavily on this bomb site. We're going to see that from Beastcoast already. That's why Surf's jumping in onto the Alibi. We're going to see Sweater on that Wamai. They should be running around through this top floor for a little while here.
Jesse, you love when casters do this. When I look at the stats per bomb site with no further context and tell you what I think of them. Well, Chalet's been played twice so far this stage. And would you believe it, that Wine Cellar Snowmobile is actually the most defender-favored bomb site. Could you believe that?
It's a small sample size, Parker.
You know how many times it's been played?
How many times?
5. You know how many times the defensive won?
How many times?
3 of those 5 times. That's it. Very, very tiny numbers. Either way. We can go back and again refer to the Charlotte Major statistics as those tend to be more accurate.
Wow, already the wall being opened up. The Kaid not delaying at all as we get the main wall opened up. Both of the Selma charges being used initially by Yeti. He's got one more in his pocket. Super being on the Hibana, likely going to come in through the back and open up into the Wine Bomb site. So they've got both angles open. This create a really nice pinch onto the site, and it's going to be really limiting the positions that we see from Beastcoast inside the bomb site.
The last bit of the Selmas were used to open up an even larger hole into the bottom of that garage. So any denial that was set up by Beastcoast, likely the mute, as that's I imagine where they had that, since there's still 1 electric law left, unless the idea was that Drip would try to juggle that wall. I'm not entirely certain. The backup hard breach going off now on the Wine wall, Super opening up small areas. Drip is down, and now Yeti gets a Claymore kill and a kill of his own. Starting things off, Slash downs 1, Surf and answer back. Suddenly Soniqs are in excellent position. Surf blinded in the midst of Wine as Super gets the diffuser planted. Slash tucked into a corner at the bottom of main stairs. Surf slaughtered by Grixer, and the diffuser down. Soniqs really like their objective play, led by their fearless leader of Super. Nitro Cell goes out by Slash. No damage done. He's down by a soft wall. Nice angle, but Grixer gets 2 for his troubles, and Soniqs take round number 1.
This is why I don't like this bomb site, Parker. You can have a good roam, but initially the attackers don't actually have to engage with that roam. They can open up the snowmobile bomb site from outside. There's really not a lot of paths to be able to flank and pinch and deal damage to the players if they're coming at the wine bomb site from Big Garage. It's really difficult for those roamers to actually have an impact. And we saw when Beastcoast were returning back to the bomb site, when they were trying to get back in, they were just getting slaughtered from that Yeti angle from the snowmobile garage. So nice attack from Soniqs. That was Beastcoast's first loss on that bomb site. They played it twice in their last matchup. They went 2 for 2 against SSG, but Soniqs would break the streak and manage to take their attacking round here in round number 1.
All right, well, now upstairs they go to kitchen dining. Guess how many times it's been played so far, Jess?
How many times, Parker?
I'm going to keep doing this to you just because it's a pet peeve.
Okay,
On the drive over to the studio, we were talking about bomb site statistics. And we were talking about team-specific bomb site statistics. I said, yeah, you know, I like to just give a general overview of how the map goes. And Jesse goes, I don't like those statistics without context because you don't know what operators are banned and what they're playing, etc. So I'm going to tell you, kitchen dining has been played 6 times.
Okay, and how many times has it been won?
It's been won twice. So not ideal by the defenders. Attackers have won it 4 of the 6 times.
Well, Parker.
So it sounds like the attackers actually have a really good opportunity here for the Soniqs, who just toppled Beastcoast on the single greatest defender-sided bomb site on this map.
Okay.
Statistically.
Calm down.
Through the 5 times it's been played.
Can I give you a better stat?
Give me a better stat.
Straight up better. Beastcoast have played Kitchen themselves 3 times in their one game against SSG. They lost it twice defending it. They were only able to defend it successfully a singular time. And while that is a lower sample size, it's more dialed in, it's more specific, it's more valuable. And Rexon is missing more shots as a player sprints across his reticle sweater. Lucky to be alive there.
Guide your eyes to the left side of the screen and see that there was not a single point of damage that was done to Beastcoast. So Sweater not only gets out of that position, but does so in remarkable form. A miss from Rexon, and especially with a bullet hose that F2, seems quite unusual, but either way. Gets one away. Kansan takes down Surf. That was the roam of the alibi. Upstairs, no more. Soniqs, after flushing out that position of the Wamaya Sweater, have control of Library. Down goes Slash to a nice nade tossed out by Grixer. So Soniqs opening things up. They were in a 5v3 in round number 1, and they find themselves in that same spot here in round 2.
The body of Slash dropping down the hatch to fall down into the basement. We've got now a 2-man advantage for the Soniqs who want to take control of this top floor. That's what they've done. There's a little bit of pressure from Drip over on the solar stairs. Sweater peeks up from his own staircase and finds the head of Grixer. Nice little shot from him, and another gunfight from Kansan. Smartly, Beastcoast are backing off here. I don't mind that Beastcoast are trying to go for swings, trying to get aggressive because they're in a really big hole right now, and I like that they're trying to dig themselves out of it.
On a map like Chalet, some of these bomb sites, especially a kitchen defense, do not work out for you well if you just sit in the bomb site because of the fact that the entire ceiling over top is destructible. So if you don't take those opportunities to try and equalize numbers, you're just going to sit in the bomb site and wait to die, especially against a team like Soniqs who have so many of these offensive threats. Work being done from Soniqs above. Again, we talked about that ceiling being something that you need to worry about. Well, in this case, it works both ways. Drips Nitro Cell takes out Kansan. Suddenly, the numbers equalize into a 3v3.
We see no soft destruction after Kansan goes down. He's a really important operator. Open up angles. Rexon saw a foot right there. He's going to challenge it again, but almost gets punished. He does. Downed by Yeti up above. Beautiful play from him. They've got pings, and there's the foot finished off by SQ. That puts them into the man advantage once more. They can continue to play with this top down. I love how quickly they were able to take control of that top floor and start using it to their advantage.
Smokes will go out to cut off line of sight, and now bursting in towards kitchen will be the Soniqs. Anthony repositions. Talked a lot about his prowess as a player. What can he bring to the table right now? There's a singular kill on Rexon before retreating down the stairs. Yeti to cover while Super gets the diffuser planted. He's safe as can be. Yeti having a great game. That leaves just Sweater upright, and Yeti finds them all in the final minutes. He's very happy about that one. A huge performance from Yeti so far. Statistically, having a down season over what we come to expect from him. But he's making up for lost time here on Chalet. Soniqs are up 2-0.
Yeti, the worst entry in the league. We see him having a lot of these impacts late in the round through the last couple of rounds we've seen so far from Soniqs. I like him in that position a lot more. He's really been able to secure things down. In that last round, Super planting the kit down onto the ground meant that Yeti had a lot of weight on his shoulders, cleaned up both those kills very nicely. Beastcoast not necessarily playing that wrong in the final 2v2. They were trying to push aggressively. They were trying to get some damage down onto Yeti. They needed to fight him, and unfortunately, they just lost the gunfights there.
Oh,
Back to my favorite bomb site.
You want to know the stats on it?
You're going to have to stop that.
Okay, it's actually dead even now, though, because it is such a small sample size. Down they go. What happened for the Soniqs? Well, number one, there was a Claymore that was planted, I believe, in the library, which is the jump out that netted Yeti's first kill, along with his weaponry. There's only been one Claymore kill per team, I think, so far.
Yes.
You looked at these numbers last night, if you'd like to reference them.
Yeah, well, so far there were 3, before this game, there were 3 Claymore kills in the NAL. I believe Drip Boolin had 1, we had Penguin having 1, and then we had Eclipse having the 3rd Claymore kill in the league so far. So that's a 4th. Jumping up on the list is Yeti. We'll keep track of that stat to see who is the Claymore King at the end of the stage.
Now, I mean, even if Yeti falls off and has a bad performance, he's got 6 kills to his name through those 2 rounds. That is incredible stuff. The Electric Claw that was on the main wall of Garage, disabled. The Selmas go off like clockwork. This is very reminiscent of what we saw of Soniqs back in round number 1.
Yeah, I just don't like that they're dedicating an entire operator, keeping the snowmobile wall closed, and then like it still gets open in a second because they've got a Thatcher, they've got Hard Breach. I mean, it's not really a problem for them. They can still use one of those claws for the hatches, so that's nice. But again, like you've got a Thatcher up on the board. If that's something that Soniqs really want to take down, and last round I don't believe it was, then they probably will be able to. So I'm not 100% confident on this Kaid pick. Hasn't found a lot of value, but Rexon up on the top floor in a long battle almost dies, but Sweater, he wants to keep fighting this. He's already killed so much time, and why would he repeat it with Rexon taking the gunfight, then Super finds a second on a slash. It's all falling apart for Beastcoast.
Nicely played. Beastcoast continuing to lose their numbers. A kill for Yeti onto the board. Super a second of his own, miles away from the bomb site. That leaves the Tachanka. Do you believe in the Lord? Anthony, down in the midst of the bomb site, sitting by a bomb, in wine. Every single player from Soniqs still alive. Electric Claws come back, so there'll be a little bit of damage, but more importantly, they'll hear when one of the attackers walks through the round. Super a big 3K, and it's a flawless round for Soniqs. Excellently done.
Anthony, the lowest rated player in the league right now in a 1v5.
I love this camera angle, by the way.
You do, from the top down.
Yeah, Goddess just breaks open one of those little hand warmer packets and throws it to Rexon. It's just like, that's the kind of teamwork that makes
That's the coordination.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes sense.
Super a 3K. Yeti gets a kill in that round, continues his streak. Soniqs are looking so formidable for Beastcoast on a map like Chalet. I know that you hate referencing this, but Chalet does and has been recently skewed in favor of the attackers. So the fact that Soniqs are up 3-0 is not necessarily cause for concern just yet.
You're right, and I don't mind that stat because it's got historical backing, right? Chalet has always, being introduced in the map pool, been an attacker-sided map. You're welcome.
We love context.
We do, and I agree, like Soniqs going up 3-0 is not a disaster. The problem is if this trend continues, right? A 4-2 split favoring Soniqs is okay, it's not great. Anything worse than that, despite this being an attacker-sided map, is dangerous territory for Beastcoast. We had Joe on last week, and one thing Joe said to me, we did.
He was here.
As an analyst, he was
stood next to you.
He was, and one thing he told me is that it was a different map, but he said after a 5-1 split, no team has been able to come back from that. That was on Border. And then his own team came back from that and ended up getting their own 5-1 split. They won it in overtime. So that's just one statsman to another explaining how tough it can be to come back from a 4-round deficit in Rainbow Six Siege. Of course it can happen. There's no carryover between rounds. And, you know, if your players start playing a little goofy, that can certainly slip away from you. But Soniqs are a very formidable team. I'm expecting them to be able to close this one out if they can get a dominant half like that.
No team has used their timeout yet. I think that's worth noting. Soniqs have the opening pick in every single round, and if it wasn't for the fact that Super was fragging out of his mind in that previous round, it would have been 3 in a row for objective play 2. Soniqs like to get that case planted. Diffuser down. They've been successful through those 2 interactions so far with the site. Sweater leadoff kill for Beastcoast. First time that First Blood goes in their favor, and maybe a Kitten Coast game? No, not to be found, at least not in this round. Grixer equalizes, but Anthony's there for backup, and he seeks shelter over in the kitchen bomb site. So map control held and then released with 2 minutes to go in the round.
Great swing from Anthony for the trade. Rexon still fighting up at the top floor as well. The roamers of Beastcoast falling off. They don't need to hold on to Library, especially not after they've already traded a couple of players back and forth. Super going down means there's no hard breach left to open up this wall into the kitchen bomb site. It's going to be very difficult then from them inside a fireplace to make that execute work. They're going to likely have to go down through the solar stairs or walk through that very tight hallway and enter the door of dining. That's probably ill-advised. I think they're best chance here for the Soniqs is to get more kills on this roam and then go down through Solar, which means Beast Coast really shouldn't be playing this too aggressively. I don't want to see them taking any fights here. I want to see them holding it back a little bit. I want to see them wasting time. I think where they're at right now is fine, but if they see drones, if they see players, they need to back out of there. It's not worth taking fights at the moment.
Kansan inside of the main lobby, closing in on the bomb site, potentially. The fact they've lost Super is not ideal, right? That lack of hard breach, not what you want on this kitchen bomb site. You can't crack open the front from lobby into kitchen, but that's okay because the Soniqs actually favored a back take last time around, and I really think the only state of mind they would find themselves in without a hard breacher is what are we going to do with those hatches? How are we going to put some more of our presence towards kitchen there? Numbers for Beast Coast continue to improve as Kansan is next one down. It's Rexon and Yeti. There goes Slash. So at least a kill from Yeti, a double from Yeti, but Surf answers that. Rexon will need to clutch out if Soniqs want to maintain their perfect streak. He's got the diffuser in his hands, but is he just going to sit and wait? 20 seconds to go. Kills are the answer. If anybody can pull it off on this team, Rexon's got to be among them, but he'll be hunting for phantoms. There's nobody around, a little bit of twitching, limited intel. There go the smokes, try to bait them out, a long-range shot, and good patience from Beast Coast. He'll have to go for the plant, and that's what he'll do, and it's not going to happen. He falls off, and nobody dies. 3 players still left on the server. Beast Coast hang on to that one, and they pick up their first round.
It was a smart little play from Yeti late to rotate in through the dining, going in through the fireplace hallway, but unfortunately, with that big of a man disadvantage, it's just so hard to be able to claw that one back. Maybe if we'd seen Rexon pushing at the same time down Solar, we could have seen something happening there, but it still was so difficult to trade that I just don't think it was ever going to be going Soniqs' way. That initial kill onto Super, proving to be so impactful. I like the Beast Coast have seen in this game that they're going down by 3 rounds. They are starting to struggle. They're saying, okay, let's get a little more aggressive. Let's start swinging. Let's go for some plays that maybe aren't going to be expected by the Soniqs. Let's try to disrupt things a little bit early on in these rounds. That's exactly what happened that round, and it got them the early advantage, which was enough to carry on into the round win.
We are finally seeing another bomb site, though, Jesse. Look at that. Ooh. Oh, would you look at that? We're going upstairs to Office and Master, which has not been won by a defender so far this stage.
True.
I know that you don't want to be referencing the stats, I get it. But it's an attacker-sided bomb site through what we've seen. Yeah. Obviously not great for Beast Coast. I am a little surprised they haven't brought out the Bar Gaming bomb site yet. That was, for a period of time, the most played bomb site on this map. It seems to have fallen out of favor among teams.
Yeah, I think this top floor is like, it's gotten a little bit better. There's some cool Azami strats you can do with it. Of course, Azami banned out here by Beast Coast, so we're not going to see any of that. Sometimes we do see the castle being brought as well. Just the problem with the site is just all the windows, right? The window on the master bedroom is so devastating at cutoff angles. The walls.
From the windows to the walls,
the window,
actually.
I think that's a music reference.
I think that's part of the problem.
Well, that'll not help, certainly, if the attackers can get those walls open, Parker. But from Beast Coast so far, they do control the entirety of the top floor. There's 2 different ways to take this. You can either go library side and try to clear the entire top floor, or you can just hit it from Solar. Yeti, the opener, and he's going to be able to take that actually from the bottom floor. Nice little shot through the window to take down Slash in the roam.
10 kills with still 2 minutes left to go in round number 5 is a hell of an achievement, especially for a player who has been on the bottom of the Soniqs in terms of effectiveness. And I would dare say it has actually been the worst player on the team in terms of value added, given Super's role. Rexon takes out yet another player from Beast Coast. Anthony goes down to Grixer. So far, all 3 kills from Soniqs coming from 3 separate players. A team ace still on the board, but Kansan's been quiet. We'll need to find more than a single kill. And Super's 3 kills all coming in 1 round means that he needs to break that streak as well. Just Drip and Surf left. Drip right now inside the bomb site. Here's some gunfire over towards the balcony. There's Super to get one. Kansan, can he complete the team ace? Down goes Rexon. Surf is there, but Kansan can still find that kill. Still possible. Walls breaking open. Surf taking some damage, and no, Super actually gets a 2-piece. Team ace denied, but Soniqs won't care about that one because they decisively win that first half. They're up 4-1.
There was some secondary utility in the pockets of those last 2 players that might have been able to help them out. There was a C4 sitting in the pocket of Drip that maybe could have equalized, wasn't really in position to do it. And there was a deployable shield in the pocket of Surf, which likely could have been placed down earlier, maybe found a bit of value.
Maybe just could have been a value.
There's some great shield places on this map. You know, you can put one inside of the piano, you can put it on the piano itself and find a lot of value there. Didn't end up being placed at all by Surf, so Don't think it was the game changer. I think that that was definitely a round that was lost on the roam. Going down 3 players is pretty devastating, but still a couple of options that maybe could have been utilized a little bit better. They run the site back, and they're going to run it back with a castle, which is something I mentioned at the beginning of the last round. It can prevent a lot of these window angles from ruining your day. It does take the C4 away from Drip, but he didn't really use it last time anyways. Their opening death was slashed down on the bottom floor. That's something that's pretty easy to fix, right? You can avoid that by just not playing near that window. I believe it was in the boot room that he ended up getting taken down from. So if he's just playing a little bit safer down on that bottom floor, maybe even having a teammate, I think they'll be okay. I like that they're running this back. I don't like that they still don't play bar games, but you know, if that's something they don't like in scrims, if that's something about this team that they're just not fans of, then fair enough. I think repeating this bomb site with the operator changes that they've made is solid enough. And look, Zerf put down a shield. Right on the piano, where I said he should.
Excellent job. Look at it. It's like he can hear you. Like your voice is being piped into their headsets.
If he is, that's a big problem. Somebody should fix that. But I don't believe that's the case.
That is true. Who would want to listen to you for any extended period of time?
Wow. Okay.
Talk about it. As
Very
I
rude.
sit next to you.
Very rude.
By the way, it's a joke. Soniqs so far, though, in very firm control of this first half. Last opportunity for Beastcoast to narrow the gap before moving on to the more favorable side themselves. For Soniqs, obviously, a 4-2 half is fine, but 5-1 gives you a bit more breathing room because it's not common that we do see a 5-1 half, even on those really lopsided maps where bomb sites do not work in your favor. I don't know if Sweater got droned, by the way.
I don't know if that saw him either. It was right at his feet. He gets full blind anyways, so there's going to be some players that are droning him out now. Twitch drone going through. I don't
So we think, by the way.
I don't know if it saw him there. Sweater, surely now he's known. He sprints out, almost gets punished. It's Rexon who opens the things up onto Slash. Big pick. Slash has got a lot of opening deaths so far in this matchup. He's died all 6 rounds. Another one from Grixer down below. Kansan on the Sweater. Boy, oh boy, this is starting to get rough. It's a 5v1, Parker.
Super needs a kill, Yeti needs a kill. There will be no team ace available yet again. These are the stats that we're going to track here. Half of the round for Soniqs to hunt down Anthony MGS. Old Metal Gear Solid himself. Right now inside a piano. He'll have to be very sneaky, just like Solids, just like we talk about.
That's true.
That sound effect.
That's
what is
true.
That? When he gets spotted.
Oh yeah, when he comes out from the box.
Yeah, you gotta. Somebody has to put that one into the actual gameplay itself. Kansan down as the diffuser being planted by Super. Anthony's job now gets even harder, and look at that crossfire angle. There's 4 separate people looking in that direction. Yeti doesn't get a kill. Super does. Super having a good game. Yeti having a good game. Things are upside down in Sonicsville. Somebody call the headquarters in Harrisburg because
please.
Things aren't going according to plan. You're doing really well. 5-1 half for SQ here on Chalet.
They're going to call attack timeout. I think it's about time. Maybe would have liked to see it a little bit earlier. Since you are switching sides, this is like already going to be a bit of a reset for Beastcoast. So coming in from the the 5-1 split now. We'll see. I think it's probably a mental timeout, right? This is going to be one where Mark jumps in and he's trying to calm these players down. I don't believe you're going to be calling attack timeout if there's like some real problem you're seeing in the server. Really, the problem was just that they weren't winning any of those roam games. Either it was being completely ignored, like we saw in that very first round, or it was being dismantled. Yeti having a great time there. Super even, popping up for a couple of times. The one round that Beastcoast won, they got that opener. They killed Super on the roam game. They had a successful early game. This match has been entirely early round focused, which means the site executes have been kind of obvious, kind of free for the team that has the advantage. And so this has been a game that's been decided early on in each of the rounds. Of course, switching sides now, maybe that will change, but that is kind of how Chalet tends to lean.
One thing that also really stands out to me is how poor the first gunfights were breaking for Beastcoast, despite the fact that the Soniqs weren't doing anything all that flashy. Half the time we saw it was Yeti or it was Rexon just peeking you. No utility being used. You weren't necessarily being droned out. You just had somebody jumping in a window and engaging off of you. How many times did we see Sweater trying to hold down the fort, just losing a gunfight? There's nothing more to it than that. He wasn't under pressure from drones. He wasn't getting flashed. He wasn't dodging nades. It was just him versus Rexon or him versus Grixer in a heads-up gunfight. And he lost. And everybody from Beast Coast seems to be struggling to shoot back today.
And it's going to get harder for Sweater because when he went off against SSG, when he dropped the 21 kill game or whatever his stat ended up being in that matchup, a lot of what he was playing was the best op in the game right now, Finka. He was rolling through the Finka time and time again. Soniqs have counter-banned that against him. He's going to opt for the Yana instead of the Finka. Could have gone for a Zofia or something here to continue on playing the LMGs. He's not going to have that available to him here now that he's playing on the Yana instead. One player we've seen do really well on Yana when Finka's been banned out has been Merc. I think Merc's done a really good job flexing onto that operator when Finka's not available on the board. Sweater, though, I'm not as confident. I haven't seen him play Yana too much so far this stage, so we'll see how it works out for him. But certainly the lack of Finka is going to be a nerf.
The NAL has been so close between these teams, as we've said on every single broadcast. Beast Coast with a victory today would vault all the way up to 2nd. Yes, that is correct. From 8th to 2nd with a win here in regulation. One more round, and they are denied the ability to do that as overtime will be required for their path on forward. If they lose here, Beast Coast's chance to go to the major takes a huge blow because their next two opponents are both Astralis, who sit in the top 4, and TSM, who, mind you, TSM had a very bad week last week, but other than that, have looked significantly better. That's not ideal. Surf walks in, and down goes Super, the first line of defense. By the top of Chimney, down he goes. Slash, a kill as well. Sweater taken out by Rexon means that the numbers for Beast Coast are still good, but not as good as they were. That's halfway through this round.
Surf's been really good so far for Beast Coast this stage, although he's gone now as Grixer takes him down, equalizing once again into the 3v3. We're in a position right now where it is the bar games. Bomb site, top floor is largely in control of Beast Coast. They have managed to work their way in. Slash is standing up there. Now Rexon's over in piano, so they do have a player who's still pressuring up above. He's on the Oryx, so that does give him a lot of flexibility to move back down, jump up hatches if he needs to. There is, of course, the kitchen hatch back below him. They can try to play around, but they know he's there. He's deciding to back off instead, getting the only person in sight. They're jumping in though, and they're looking to go for a plant.
Very close too. Yeti lighting him up right now, failing to hit the head. Come on. There he goes. Nice shot. Poor coverage on the window. There's another vault in from Beast Coast that will need to be had with the diffuser surrendered. Slash from above. He's got some pings, but not a ton of information. Nicely killed onto Yeti, and just like that, Soniqs actually decide to peek for the last 2 kills, lose both those gunfights, and...
All right.
Okay. Beast Coast win their very first attack, and it does indeed look like an attacker-sided Chalet.
That's good. Games is, again, typically the strongest defender bomb site that we have. So Beast Coast being able to open things up, win Sonic's preferred map is great. That shot from Yeti, he had way too much time to kill Super as he was planting. He definitely wanted to see better window coverage to shut that down. Obviously, you know, wasn't aiming at the big window to stop that from happening. Had to cross through the angle as well. So there were opportunities to get that frag, but unfortunately it just didn't happen. Great planted denial initially. But Beast Coast still walk away with the round. They go to Kitchen bomb site next up for Beast Coast. This is a bomb site that they played 3 times when they were defending themselves, but Soniqs bringing up this bomb site, very high win rate. They played this bomb site 5 times in stage 1. They won it 4 out of those 5 times. 3 games that they ended up playing this. So this is a very good site for SQ. It's a good chance they push it to 6 here.
Again, that guarantees you at least 1 point as you go into overtime. 3 rounds to determine who moves forward. For both of these teams who are currently on the outside of the playoff bubble, not in a position to go to Berlin just yet, you have to imagine that overtime is like mutually assured destruction at this point. It's not a great result for either team. Even if you are Soniqs and you go to OT and you win, you're looking at a very strong schedule for some of these teams at the top. Again, it is so close that even the bottom place team that hasn't been eliminated yet, which is Space Station, would be in position to go to the Berlin Major with a win today, depending on what happens with other teams. So it's a squeaker. Games are going to start to matter an awful lot. They always do. But today, tomorrow, and next week, this is do or die for a lot of these teams, because there will come a point where your fate is out of your hands and you just simply cannot make up enough points because your opponents are also not dropping points the way you need them to.
Beast Coast, 2 minutes, and they're still just getting into library. They've got full control of it now. Soniqs not pressuring that very hard at all. You see the operators, they're bringing lots of site utility. You've got Toxic Babes, you've got Maestro Evil Eyes as well, you've got Banshees. You've got a lot that can really help out the anchors. They've got a shield up here around Piano. Rexon for the jump out, and he finds it. Nice little opener onto Sweater. He's the player that we were supposed to be watching for, but he's been quiet so far.
Oh my God, Rexon. What a phenomenal bit of teamwork on that play. And suddenly, you said 6 looking likely on this bomb site. Well, I mean, if you play like that, doesn't really matter what bomb site you're going to go to. Drip waltzes on in, executes Grixer. Could we see another from Drip Stan himself? No. Kansan has the lineup on that one. It's all up to Slash. MVP from 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
Very well-traveled player, a journeyman, some would say, and he's currently journeyed into a 1v4. So, Diffuser not within reach, opponent's out of reach, clock still working in your favor, 1 grenade, but your sledge, you're not going to be able to do too much other than just grab the Diffuser and maybe go for a pick. And he has to be wary of exactly where these SQ players are, all of whom are going to exhibit great patience. As Yeti was the story on attack, indisputably the best player for Soniqs. Rexon has come online for this round, and it is greatly helping the chances of Soniqs. 20 seconds have been burned off the clock. Finally, the Diffuser picked back up by Slash, but he's still got miles to go to get into the bomb site. And they know where he is. They've been doing chip damage to each other all the while that we've seen Slash upstairs.
Soniqs are a very disciplined team. They are not going to overswing things when they don't need to. They could go for a flank at some point, 20 seconds on the clock. The nice thing about Slash is he's on the sledge, so he can create these top-down angles for himself. He can look through the floorboards when he has the chance, but so passive from Soniqs. They're playing this so smart. As soon as he drops, he's going to be in crossfires. 10 seconds. This is not winnable. There we go.
Super to get the kill. Stat padding at this present moment. Again, I just want to tip of the hat to Yeti for the way that he played on attack, because we have spent a lot of time dwelling on how poor his performance has been for Soniqs so far this stage. His numbers are not great, but he's come awake at the right time. And the other thing too is that Yeti is a very capable player, so even if Yeti's numbers go underwater, similar to what we see at a Super, the rest of the team can pick up the pieces. I will say that while Yeti was the story on that first half, this has been a team effort the whole game.
Absolutely.
There's been nobody who has really done poorly. Kansan has been the quietest player on the team, but he's been playing utility. So his job was effective. He was playing that Lion on attack for so long, and now he's just flexing on defense wherever they need him to go.
Yeah, everybody even or positive on Soniqs, everybody negative on Beastcoast. I mean, in a 6-2 game, that's going to be expected. I'm really disappointed from what we've seen from Sweater so far. I mean, he's the guy that carried Beastcoast to a big win over Space Station when they last played this map. He had a crazy good stat line in that game, and now he's 2-8. Hasn't gotten a single kill on attack so far. Again, I think Soniqs banning out that Finka was a really good call by them. They banned Finka instead of the Thatcher. That was kind of what I was expecting to see from them. That's what they usually ban on this map, looking back to last stage. And then not only do I think that that Finka ban was really effective, but I think Soniqs used Thatcher really well through that first half. It allowed Yeti to get a lot of those walls open. It allowed them to really get those entry points when they needed to, made the Kaid from Drip completely irrelevant. So I think Soniqs played the operator bans really, really well here. Maybe a small thing to start the game, but I did really like that at the start.
I like that you highlighted Sweater's play on this team. Not that we want to send any undue hate to these players, but
of course not.
Sweater has really not fulfilled his role on the team, and his role has been to win early engagements, blunt the entry of Soniqs, and then on defense, hold map control as long as he can. On attack, he's going to be the main entry for this team on most of their executes. He has failed on almost all of his first engagements. Those stats are quite poor right now, and it does drag down the whole team, because if you are losing your most potent offensive force, who is also tasked with keeping the rest of the defense intact so that nobody has to reposition to cover for you, things slowly start to fall apart. And really, the metaphor is that Sweater's that first domino, and it's a big domino that brings the rest of the team down in a lot of ways. And you can see when we were talking about the Soniqs on entry, how fantastic they were at jumping in, getting those first kills with limited issue. And now is Sweater just not able to contest and losing those gunfights.
Sweater has the most kills per round of any player in the league right now, averaging 1.1 kills every single round that he plays. He's found 75 frags before this game. That's being bumped up to a massive 77 as of this game so far. Of course, not matching that performance. That stat likely to drop below first place after their game finishes today. But it's not technically over. They're down on the Wine bomb site, and as I've said a couple of times on this cast, I think this bomb site is bad. So if Beastcoast are clearing effectively, if they're willing to push this bomb site from the Wine side, which I do think is the strongest, they can find success. They've gotten control of the entire north side of the map, right? They've got this kitchen control, so they can go for a basic push in through Wine, slash the one-player garage. Anthony, though, finding Super makes that even better. They've got that kill. It was kind of the elbow locked in from Super. He's kind of played these death spots a lot so far this stage, and usually it has been working out. Unfortunately, not today.
People also commonly will think of Super's position on Oregon too, where he would play in that same elbow spot. Nade goes in by Sweater. We spoke of how he needed to start finding some kills, and there's 1 to his name. 3 kills for Sweater, though, here in round number 9 is not ideal. Nade goes in, Kansan can capitalize. Missed opportunity, wary of being shot from the other angle. There's Kansan with 1. How does he get away with those both? Surf and Anthony just fed to the wood chipper, and Grixer gets a 2-piece. It's all up to Drip. Can he do any real damage? He'll chip away at Kansan, find the kill before heading towards the bomb site. There are plenty of players from Soniqs lining up for him, but it's Rexon on the re-engage to shove the dagger through the heart of Beastcoast. Wow, that was a quick one. 7-2 for Soniqs. They make light work of Beastcoast on a map that we know Beastcoast aren't usually that bad on.
That was their 6th time ever defending Wine and Snowmobile this year. It was the first time that they managed to win it. Very fitting for them. From the Soniqs, managing to clutch that round back. I thought it was looking so good from Beastcoast. I mean, those entries were very clean. The nade came down, it looked great. But Kansan's the playmaker. He's always been the playmaker on this team, the one that can step in late. Soniqs have talked about switching Super and Kansan's roles a little bit on defense, making it so that Kansan can stay alive a little bit later in those rounds. The fact that he was there late made all the difference to get those big 2 kills, equalizing things out, and then Grixer following it up beautifully.
Well, with those 3 points, they tie OXG on top of the standings. Yep. So Soniqs vault all their way up to the top. Not exactly the results that you want for Beastcoast. The loss to Mirage last week, and now getting blown out by Soniqs. Things don't get easier for Beastcoast. They have Astralis up next tomorrow. That is going to be a tough match, but they'll recoup, I'm sure. They'll regroup, they'll recuperate, they'll figure things out. Soniqs, though, big 3 points today. Impeccable performance by everybody on the team, but Yeti in particular gets my tip of the hat today. That's it for our 3rd matchup. We got 2 more to come, but before we get there, a short break. We'll see you in a few.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Rainbow Six Analysis Desk. Your host, Joe, along with Caliber Jacob and Tommy. That's right. It happened.
Tommy picked Beastcoast.
He did. And it did not go well. That was one of the
3 hours
most
in.
one-sided maps we've had this stage, I think, honestly.
Especially from Beastcoast. I mean,
Tough.
lost 7-2, man. Like,
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Every single time that the Soniqs and Beastcoast have played, it's been a 7-2 or a 7-3. And
has.
the only time that Beastcoast have ever won was last stage, and that's not going to happen again for a while.
Well, we've got Super standing by in Vegas to chat with us a little bit. So, Super, congrats on the win versus Beastcoast. Honestly, it was much more one-sided, I think, than a lot of people were expecting. I know if I ask you if you thought it was going to be one-sided, you'd probably say yes, right? But I'll ask you, on top of that, what do you think it is about Soniqs at the moment that makes them able to take down Beastcoast so one-sidedly?
I mean, they kind of helped us out. I'm not sure why they thought going to Chalet against us was a good idea. I think everybody knows that's our best map. And honestly, we're the number one. I think we're the number one attacking team in the region, or we were at least heading into our last game last week. I'm not sure. Oh, a move.
Earthquake.
Hello.
Okay. No, you're okay.
Yeah, but I mean, we're the best attacking team, and you take us to a map where attacking is easier. I mean, to be honest, they were lucky to even get one round. I had like a really bad sound. I don't know if the stream caught it, but I jumped in the window shooting. They immediately shot my drone. I thought he was prone under my window, so I jumped in the window like shooting the ground. So if the stream was watching it, they were probably like, this guy's like tweaking. But yeah, literally the only round we lost was because I got blooded with hard breach off of a bad sound. Besides that, I mean, Beastcoast are about as free as you can be.
There you go.
what's up, Seth? How's it going? Hopefully you remember me.
Hey, buddy.
How's it been? Well, I got a couple questions. One question, and the other one's kind of a joke. But first of all, ever since you shaved your beard, you guys been doing good. So I think that there's, something to do with that. And then the next thing is, what did you guys do to, leap from not being top 4 last stage, and then now, which you guys pretty much are top 4, and you guys are still fighting for a spot at the major?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody, obviously going into stage 1, I think we were the favorites, arguably, to win the stage, just because we have such a history of great success on NA. So, it was obviously a bad stage for us, and I think part of that was I personally underestimated the effect that attacker repick would have. So once the season was done, I mean, honestly, like halfway through the season, we pretty much knew we weren't going to make the major, so we just started hiding stuff, and I was already working on stuff for the next stage. So I just think I figured out how to use the attacker repick more effectively than I was, because I think I was underestimating it. And, we're number 1 attacking again, like we were pretty much all last year. And that's the Sonic strength. We're the best attacking team.
And you know what they say, you define a team by their attacks, so welcome back.
Yep.
But honest question, though, why the hell do you think Beastcoast wanted to take you to Chalet in the first place?
Honestly, I'm not sure, so obviously you got, I don't know if you've seen Joe was there. You probably had an idea of, the kind of stats Joe has. So our models showed us that it was probably going to be Oregon Villa, Bank, and we probably thought maybe they'd want to go to Bank versus us, but we're a pretty good Bank team. And our Villa hasn't been seen, but I think teams know we're good at Villa too. And our Oregon, we did lose it to XSET, and they smoked us on it last stage, so I thought that would probably be what they wanted to play most, so I banned that just to throw them off a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. I think they beat SSG on Chalet, and I think they got a false sense of confidence on that. And that's, if you remember, the game where I think Sweater had 21 kills or something.
It was that game, yeah.
Yeah, right, so if you eliminate his kills, what is the actual score of that game? Not to mention that, in my opinion, SSG are not very good on Chalet. We kind of handled them last stage, even when we were playing bad on Chalet. So it's you get an okay win, and it was somewhat close, 7-5, 7-4, off of the back of a guy getting 21 kills. Nobody's getting 21 kills against us, and that's the result. When Sweater doesn't carry, Beastcoast is buried.
Ooh.
There you go. Hey, it even rhymes. So I got one more question before we let you go there. So obviously, like right now, when we cut to the team, when we see you guys all sitting there at the desk, everyone seems a lot more animated. Everyone seems a lot more talkative. Like it's easy to be that when things are going well. Obviously, things seemed a little bit quieter back in stage 1, but I'm curious, is it just the winning making things more animated, making things more kind of energetic on that side, or was there sort of a revamp of how comms are working here for stage 2 as well?
No, I mean, obviously, when you're losing, especially when you go into a stage with the expectation that we had last stage, and it just is not working out no matter what you try.
Right.
You're showing up. I think 1 week we got 7-0'd and then 7-2'd, and it's just like, you're showing up, but we're a team that has major championship aspirations, and we're playing a stage where we're just getting manhandled. Like, it's your job, and yeah, you show up and you're trying to play, but the situation you're in, and it's hard to be as, I guess, dialed in or as motivated when, nothing, like you can't even qualify for anything, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, the only motivation we had is like, we at least can get these invite points because we know we're going to bounce back. Like, at least let's like strive to try to get some placing so we can get some invite points. And it's just a different energy, obviously, for the team since they've been on the Soniqs going on. This is the 2nd year now. That last stage was the first stage that we have ever had where we were bad. Literally, we've qualified, besides last stage, for every major. We made Deep Run Invitational. We won NAL Finals. It was literally the first time the team's ever been bad. And that's a learning aspiration, too, or a learning moment, too, because as a team, we never really learned to lose. We were just used to winning. So when you start losing, you kind of got to figure out how to do it and then how to use the losing to make yourselves better. And that was a learning experience, to learn how to lose. And that maybe sounds a little bit egotistical, but it's a situation we were in. And I think we handled losing well. I think we had like some, in a way, like come to Jesus moments. And, obviously we've rebounded well. The guys have strong mental. They're all great players.
No, I think it's a great point. I think that's something people don't talk about enough, is that like the ability to lose skillfully, as it were, I think is a major component of success in pro gaming, and it's illustration of a couple different things, right? I mean, I used to skateboard a lot. You need to learn how to fall as much as you need to learn how to stick the trick, right? Same with pro gaming, you need to learn how to lose and learn from it just as much as you need how to learn how to win and keep winning.
You might say, why do you fall?
Yeah,
so you can get back up.
Yes,
Ooh.
exactly.
Yep.
Sage
Oh,
words.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen the movies.
Is that Super or Gandalf over there? Wow, so smart, so
know.
wise.
I'm old enough.
There you go. You got to grow the beard back out a little bit more, though, I guess, before the Gandalf thing really happens. But thanks for taking the time to sit down and chat with us a little bit, and good luck in the match tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Super from the Soniqs. Doing well today, doing a little bit better than well. In fact, a 7-2 victory for them over Beastcoast to start their week off. No doubt they got to be happy about that. But Beastcoast, I mean, the Berlin hopes are slipping away fast, aren't they?
I mean, I'd say at this point, they're not totally dead, but they're probably within like the 20 to 14 or something percentile. It's down there for sure. And I was about to rag on Yeti. I think that was one of the points I wanted to make in the pregame was for some reason we're not seeing him show up. Look at what he did playing Thatcher today.
Right?
Thatcher, 2 opening kills, 11-4, as well as Grixer, 10-4. And I mean, look at Kansan. Even though we told him, hey, try not to die a lot on entry. I mean, he's positive on entry, so.
It doesn't fix Yeti's overall what seems to be a bit of an issue on entry, because coming into this game, Homie was 2-16 trying to read those kills, and it wasn't working out. But in spite of that, Soniqs are still doing this well. If that is something that they can shore up in these last 2 games, they already looked like they were on pace to do it today. But that kind of reading the entry and getting first into the building when you're on the attack feels like something that they could do a little bit better on. Rexon's been picking up the slack there for sure, but if Yeti does the same, this team might return to like stage 3 of last year for him.
I totally agree with what Super was saying too, as far as Beast Coast's rationale for going to Chalet again, and it's a little bit of recency bias, right?
Yeah.
Splitter had that amazing game on it. Now he's 3-9 today. They had that tough loss against Mirage. They come back, all right, let's go to a quote-unquote comfort pick because we did so well on that without necessarily thinking through what caused them to win that one. Just speculation, but it kind of seems to line up a little bit as we look at the standings. And now the Soniqs find themselves in first place here, tied in points with Oxygen, but just that slightly better round differential is going to put them there. Again, we always have to say for the moment because things are so close, but 13 points. You got to be pretty comfortable if you're Soniqs right now.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the result of the next game is actually going to determine whether we see somebody else get back into the top 4 in BZ, or if OXG then vault right back above the Soniqs again. XSET's loss today means that now they may be in a position where they're playing for 3rd or 4th, as opposed to 1st or 2nd, where they were for most of this stage so far. Even one loss, as close as that is, when we're talking round differential, is still going to determine if you're secure in 1st or just barely hanging on to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, as we could look at the board, DZ wins one game and they're above Parabellum. They take their 4th spot. Same with TSM. They win one game, they're above XSET. They're back in 3rd, so everything's close.
It's interesting because Oxygen still has yet to play their game today, and they're already a win ahead of Soniqs. But Soniqs, by virtue of having 2 overtime losses, has kept it very, very close. Their round differential, of course, looking really good. Let's take a look at a couple rounds in general, or specifically, actually, the opposite in general.
There you go.
For this one. The first one we're going to look at is round number 2. And this was one where, Beastcoast almost seemed a little bit timid. They gave up a lot of ground a little bit too fast, didn't they?
I mean, as you can see, right here on the office side, you can see Kansan entering through library. They have fire. And for SQ, basically means like if they wanted to switch into a dining take, they can just open up office walls because no one is playing office side. And it's already a 3v5. Nonetheless, even though, Soniqs end up winning this round by going through solar and getting the bomb down. But you can see as in, Beastcoast just giving up map control as much as they did on the SSG game.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that they tried to carry into this game that just didn't work. And that might have been the way that SSG themselves were playing it, where Beastcoast think that they can like relinquish a little bit of map control and kind of allow the other team to take control of it, so to speak, and then work from there. But it didn't really seem as though it was doing much because Beastcoast get found on every step of this defense. And then by the time we end up getting to this cross, funnily enough, it almost looks like Beastcoast might win it because they turn it into essentially a 2v1 because not only is Rexon going to die, but Super is going to start planting back in kitchen, which means it's all up to Yeti to find these last 2 cross kills. And look at how widespread Beastcoast get. Sweater has to come all the way back because they know that the attempt for the plant might show up. Rexon walks right in, doesn't have gun up. Anthony takes off his head, and suddenly Yeti has to find 2 kills, finds Anthony, finds Sweater, immediately transitions right into it, and it means that they get off their 2nd round in a row.
Yeah, I do have, speaking of Anthony, I do have to mention too, best numbers today on his team.
Yeah,
so
true.
We talked about Anthony struggling a little bit. At least for today, he was the top on his team, even though it's a loss. I don't know.
Or for the 2 rounds they won. That's not that
positives.
Great.
I'm a positive guy. Let's take a look at round number 9, and this is just Kansan putting it away. This is just great individual play for Kansan, and then the rest of the team following up to seal the deal.
I mean, funnily enough, it looked like Beastcoast probably had this round under wraps, but then we talk about Kansan's clutch factor. He swings in. Technically, there's somebody from Boiler who should, or from Pit Door, right there, in Trench, who should have that cross, and he does, but Anthony is too late on the draw. That's more of the problem. Kansan not only pushes directly into bottom west main for free, but it takes Drip to be the one to finally remove him from the equation. And it feels like if you just watch the cross a little bit more, if you have maybe one more person in Trench to actually watch into wine and the other one watching down toward bottom west main to wait and see if someone pushes, it feels like Crossfires were all out of whack in this one.
Yeah, I think there was a moment in time that Kansan saw the opportunity, and I mean, we've seen Kansan in international play, and now that's why you call the bank office little cubicle in open
You call
area.
it Kansan now?
You call it Kansan.
Yeah.
Pro teams can't find a
If
name
you get a spot
for it.
named after you and it's not like artificially done and people just call it that forever, that means you've made it.
Yep.
Or it's not off of like an embarrassing thing. You don't want to be like, you get a grenade, a triple TK or something like that, and you're like, oh, I don't want that named after me.
Or just like Summit.
We'll call it the Doa, yeah.
You don't want to summit, that's true.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, that's it for Beastcoast versus Soniqs. Soniqs taking that one in style, but do not go anywhere because we got 2 more maps yet to play here at the Rainbow Six North American League. Coming up next, Oxygen looking to retake that 1st place spot in the standings, but they've got a Dark Zero team that wants back in the major a lot to contend with. We'll see who wins right after the break.